Well, students, we will continue our lecture number 3, and in which we are focusing on the groundwater hydrogeology, and we are studying the geological formations which are responsible for the storage of the aquifers, groundwater resources. So, what is an aquifer? So, now let's have classification. What kind of aquifers we can have, and what kind of conditions we can develop. So, an aquifer is a rock unit and that will yield water in a usable quantity to a well or spring. Saturated geological formation containing and transmitting significant quantities of water under normal field quantities. So, water is retained in geological formation is called an aquifer. Then we have different conditions for this. So, first of all, let's discuss the conditions: aquiclude, aquifuge, aquitard, confining bed. These are the conditions. These will rule what kind of aquifer there is. So, what is the aquiclude? These are the characterization. These are the significant characteristics which will be defining the type of aquifer. So, these are formation containing water, do not transmit significant quantities. So, aquiclude is having water in it, but it is not transmitting the water. And then we have aquifuge formation, does not contain nor transmit. So, and in the third one is aquitard. Formations with low permeability includes both aquiclude and aquifuge. So then we have a bedrock, confining bed, rock unit with low hydraulic conductivity to restrict movement of groundwater either into or out of adjacent aquifers. So, a geological formation or stratum containing water in its voids are pores that may be extracted economically and used as a source of water supply. An aquifer may be confined or unconfined. These are the two types of this aquifer. So, confined aquifer is one in which groundwater is confined under pressure greater than atmospheric pressure by overlapping impermeable strata. It is also known as artesian or pressure aquifers. Unconfined aquifer, on the other hand, it is in which water table serves as the upper surface of the zone of saturation. It is also known as free, phreatic, and non-artesian aquifers. So, unconfined these are the partly water fills groundwater aquifers, and so in this case of unconfined aquifers we are having water table at 0 gauge pressure, and it separates saturated and unsaturated zone. Free surface rise of water in a well, in this case of unconfined. In case of confined aquifer, we have artesian conditions: permeable material overlain by a relatively impermeable material, and piezometric or potentiometric surface is existing as the topmost layer. In the previous case of the unconfined aquifer, it was the phreatic surface, and at phreatic surface the pressure was the same as that of atmospheric pressure. But in this case, it is under pressure, and it is the pressure of the hydrostatic pressure. So, what is hydrostatic pressure? Hydrostatic pressure is the pressure exerted by the walls of the confined aquifer. So, water level in piezometer is a measure of water pressure in the aquifer. So, it is due to the pressure of the hydrostatic pressure. Well, it's again the description, you can go through it by yourself. So flowing artesian well is uh, lies above the ground surface. Exists when the piezometric surface lies above the ground surface, and aquiclude, and then we have aquitard. These are kind of repetitions. So artesian well is this one. This is the piezometric surface in case of confined aquifer, and this is the flowing well in which this is the ground surface and this is the piezometric surface. It is lying above the water table, above the this piezometric surface. So that's the reason it is called flowing artesian wells. So permeability is again very important parameter, particularly when we talk about the movement of groundwaters. So when we have in this case, as you see, a very well graded structure or well compacted structure, the porosity is low, and that means in this case we are having a high porosity, and high porosity means high permeability, and in this case we have a high porosity but the permeability is low. So we can have different conditions for the gravels. So high porosity in case of gravels with high permeability. Sand has also similar behavior, high porosity with medium permeability. Mud has high porosity with low permeability, and then granite, very low porosity, very low permeability. Fractured granite, low porosity, very high permeability. These are the examples as described here. You can go through them. You can see in these structures, granite structures, low porosity and low permeability. So high porosity and low permeability in this case, clay rich layer. So just find the number of pores. And also check its arrangement. This arrangement is not allowing the water to move freely. So this means that our water in these pores is getting locked. So this locked water is not going to be yielded. It will be retained. So it will be having a low permeability. This is the case in which we are having high porosity and high permeability. The best example is sand or gravel, low porosity and low permeability. So you can see that it is highly well graded structure with a high level of compaction. All the pores are filled up and there is no porosity in it, and that's why there is no permeability as well. This is again a continuation of the previous, a little more detailed information. Like you can see this capillary fringe here. You can see a cross section of this volume of soil, giving us air, sediment and water. And then we have this bedrock which is working as the impervious layer, and then this is the saturated zone, this is the unsaturated or aeration zone, both vadose zone as well. So this is again the explanation. Well, this is the topography of water table. So water table will make its way wherever it is finding the pores. It will keep moving. And what is the driving force of this water table? It is the head, hydraulic head provided to it. So first of all, we need a driving force in the form of hydraulic head or a slope, and then secondly we need some pores to make its way in a typical direction. This is the hydraulic gradient slope which will be working for the movement of water in a particular direction. So this is again quite explained here. This was the purged water table as we talked earlier. This is the water here in this. It got from in filtered water, and then it got stuck up here due to the impermeable layer here. So again, this is the separation between this zone of aeration, zone of saturation. Water table is here. So that's all for today's lecture. I will be closing here, and in the next lecture our focus will be to determine the groundwater movement, how we can determine the direction of groundwater movement, how can we quantify quantify the water available in a particular aquifer, in a segment of the aquifer. We will be talking about Darcy law, which is the main law for determining the quantity and the movement and the velocity of the water. So all these things will be discussed in the coming lecture next time, inshallah. So let's close it here. Thank you very much for your time.